Hello, guys. Welcome to my channel. Today we'll be interviewing Dr. I, who is a teacher turned entrepreneur and the creator of Classroom Without Walls.
Hey, Arsene, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you, Dr. I. It's a pleasure to have you as well. So, would you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I'm a professor turned entrepreneur. I taught in higher education for 10 plus years, and then I resigned from my associate professor position and started my own company, Classroom Without Walls.
Okay, and what is the biggest difficulty in becoming an entrepreneur from an ordinary life with just a job?
I think the biggest part is, and even though I was teaching, before I resigned, I was teaching social media, uh, marketing classes, but I was only a teacher. And as you know, being a teacher, you don't have to apply, you just need to know how to talk, right? So I literally had no idea how to run a business and how to do my own social media marketing. So that is something I literally have to relearn. And so I think that is like a big part of my journey is to become a student again and to let go of this, terminal degree, right? Which is a PhD, which is a terminal degree. But I was like, wow, I need to go back to the classroom. I didn't really go back to the traditional classroom. I started working with coaches, mentors, to really learn like, okay, how do I really run my own social media? How do I even start a business? So I think that's shift, from the stage on the stage, I know everything, to go back to the classroom to become a student again. That was a big readjustment for me. Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure that this took a lot of time becoming a student again now that you were an adult and you had like your own personal life. So how do you manage your own time so that your professional life doesn't interfere with your normal life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, I think this concept of work-life balance is already an outdated concept. And for me, it's really like work-life integration. Like, because my business is in education, I also homeschool my kids. So I almost feel like my business has become me. I have become my business. And everything's like intertwined. And even like on days when I go out for a walk, right? Like with my 9 years old, I will be talking about business. This is what happened in my business. And we'll be talking about, hey, what are your big dreams in 5 years? Just the stuff I share with you guys, with my students, I will have the same conversation with my own children. So is that work? Is that personal life? I don't even know. So, but I think when you truly discover what you love, it becomes your identity. So what I mean by that is that, like, for example, I'm a mom, right? Just because right now I'm having a conversation with you, I'm still a mom. That identity never goes away. I'm still thinking about my children. I still love them so much. They're always in my mind. So am I doing my job as a mom? I'm not. I'm talking to you, but it is part of me. So that is really how I feel about my work. It has become a part of me. It has become my identity. It is something I truly love, almost like my kid. So that is kind of my life right now. Like, this is really part of me. I don't even know if there is a clear, even on the days when I'm not working, I'll be thinking about it. It's just like part of me. Even if I'm not intentionally thinking about it, like I'm thinking about it. I don't even know if this is making sense. One day when you have your own business, you will truly understand. I think that is such a great feeling. Just to follow up on this is before I resigned, and I remember so clearly as if it were yesterday, I listened to a podcast and this guy said, I love Monday. I was like, what? You love Monday? Like, I hate Monday, right? Like, but now, Arsenia, I can truly tell you that I love Monday. I love every day in my life because what I do is what I love. It is my calling in life. So I think once you have that feeling, like, it is more so work-life integration as opposed to like work-life separation balance. That is my kind of take on this.
Yeah, I think that is a great way to approach it because So when you love something, as you said, like it's great that it's Monday because I'm going to do what I want to do, not what I'm required to do by a certain job. And at the same time, it doesn't become overwhelming to separate a life that is a mom and with kids from the professional life with your students. It's way better to just keep it all in the same page.
Yeah, and it's just, that's such a great point. And I got my kids involved, right? I think I showed you guys my vision board. Hold on, let me share with you again. It's just here next to me. And then, just like my big dreams have lots of like money, everything in my personal life, fitness goals, everything. And then I do the same with my kids, right? Hey, let's plan our life, right? What do you want to do? So to me, it's so fun, right? It is not work. It is just so fun. Yeah.
So I know that you resigned from the educational system because you thought that there was better ways to teach kids, and obviously you teach your kids with new ways that school doesn't really apply them. School wants to keep everybody in the same track so that they all go to college, the classic, get a degree, get a job, live your life until you're working until 60, and then you pay off their debt and that's it. What made you resign out of the school system? Like what was the thing that you were like, this is not right, I want to get out?
Yeah, I think the fact that, first of all, most students hate school, that is a fact, right? I have taught, I think, more than 2,000 students already. I have never met one single student who told me, Dr. I, honestly, I just love school. I'm so excited to go to school every day. I never met one. And research has shown that. Last year, there was a big study came out from Yale University, and they surveyed 20,000 high school students in the US. 75% of them literally hate school with three very strong emotions: bored, stressed, and tired. And so that really, like, I want to teach children who are passionate, who are excited about this. I'm tired of looking at, like, why am I here? Why do I have to take this class? I'm tired of that. And also, I'm tired of doing things to please the system, right? I felt like 70% of what I did as a college professor was to keep the system alive, right? I have to give exams, I have to give quizzes, there are certain things I have to do, but it is not really to serve the students. It is to keep the entire broken education system alive. And to me, doing that after 10 plus years, I'm just like, I'm not okay with that anymore. And I prefer to, to teach without the pressure of giving you guys exams, right? And also add essential life skills, like what we talked about, right? Doing live streaming interview, sending out calendars, invites, and big part that I do talk about my own curriculum that we didn't have time to dive into in the internship program is mindset. I do exercises, a bunch of different exercises to really help my students work on their mindset. But traditional curriculum, I just cannot. Either I'm teaching social media or I'm teaching marketing. There's no room for other things. And I think that is wrong. So like there are just like things like that, and enough is enough. And finally I'm like, yeah. And also financial reasons. I'm like, I work so hard. Why am I so broke all the time? And so that is also another reason. And it was a scary decision to make. I didn't even tell my parents. I didn't tell my friends. I was ashamed of myself, right? Like, why do I want to do this? But now I tell everyone, it is the best decision I have ever made in my life.
Yeah, I completely agree with you because I feel like you enter a classroom in any school, and the first thing that you see is a bunch of kids that are not into the topic that they're even discussing in class. And if they pretend they are, they're only doing it for the A in the class or for the honors. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. And then that's another great point, because everyone who joins Classroom Without Walls, the very first module or exercise we do is to discover who you are. Like, who are you? What are your core values? What are your core strengths? What is your personality? And we design our life, we design our career based on who we are and our core values. Because so many students, they want to be a lawyer or doctor or engineer, not because they really love it, but because the ranking, or because my parents asked me to do it, or because I have no idea what to do. I think a way to fix that is like start from the within to really ask yourself, who are you? What are your core values? What is a career that will make you feel really happy? To me, after I did that exercise in myself, I have a number of personality types. After I did that, I was like, holy cow, my very first important value is freedom. That is something very important to me. No wonder I wasn't happy with a traditional job because I want to be free. I love traveling. That's why I designed my business to be like to allow me to do that, right? To make my own schedule, to travel. Before COVID, we were traveling in Korea, in Thailand. We had such a great time. Yeah. But I designed that and students didn't realize that everybody can do the same thing, design your own life based on who you are. That is the best career.
Yeah, I think that that is why we have so many professionals that are not happy with what they do, because they probably did it just because it was what society was telling them to
Mhm.
do at the time. However, it's not what they were really passionate about. And this eventually leads to people always being the ones waiting for Friday and the 5 p.m. to get out of their job rather than trying to improve or get a higher position at whatever job they have.
Exactly. Hold on, I'll share a book with you. Give me 1 second. And I think I have it here. Hold on. Oh, it is now here, but it is a book that my friend and we wrote. We just published it earlier this year. It's called "Skip the Degree, Save the Tuition." And so in that book, and we interviewed dozens of 40 or 50 very successful entrepreneurs. Very few, many of them haven't even gone to college yet, and they are being extremely successful in life. When my the best story was this guy Josiah I interviewed, and he only has eighth grade education. He didn't even go to high school. Eighth grade education. Is a self-made multimillionaire, and he said something which is absolutely like shocking. He said that he's so thankful for his lack of formal education because it allowed him to be more critical and more creative.
Yeah, what also drove me to this internship that we are doing at Paya Group and this ideology is that I was seeing people, not just like millionaires, but also people like Bill Gates and Elon Musk, who basically didn't study what they were truly doing right now, and they are considered the greatest geniuses in the world when they didn't even went to school to get those degrees, which simply shows that there is something wrong with the school system and teaching kids what they don't actually want to know. And so I want
Kind of follow up on that. Elon Musk said that to work for Tesla, I don't even care if you graduate high school or not.
yeah, I remember that he said that, and that was like a big controversial topic, especially in the college community. However, if we look at the base of it, he didn't went to college to be the owner of Tesla, the creator of Tesla, which is why people constantly criticize him. Also with his SpaceX, they're like, "How are you going to create a rocket to go to the moon if you didn't even study that?" And he did it. He created the first reusable rocket to go to the moon ever seen. So that's incredible. And so, if you were to start over right now, if you didn't have anything, you were a student in high school, how would you start?
Such a great question. So if I could, I would definitely started working with a coach or like a mentor earlier, because mistakes are very important and they are stepping stones for success. There are multiple ways that you can make mistakes, right? I think the best way is to learn from other people's mistakes, and it is easier, it is faster, and it is cheaper. The biggest mistake I made in my business cost me $40,000. That is a very expensive mistake. A few days ago, I made another mistake. Thank God, it didn't cost me that much. And so now I run my company. You know that every wrong decision, there is an immediate financial loss, right? So instead of trying so hard to figure out everything on my own, if I could, I would have started working with a coach or mentor earlier so that I can learn from those people. They can coach me. Hey, just like, you can learn how to figure out live streaming by yourself. It may take you like 2 weeks, right? But like with me, and how many we spend only a few hours, we cannot, the ins and outs, you learn from the mistakes that I made. So I think, that is something I would definitely invest in. And I truly believe before we invest in anything else, we need to invest in ourselves. So that is the very first investment we have to do, invest in ourselves. And lifelong learning. I waited too long to hire my very first coach. I could have saved so much time and saved that $40,000. But anyway, yeah, so that is something I would have done. And also I would have like started building my personal brand way, 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 way earlier. And because we were talking about the creators economy, everyone needs to have a brand. Even if you don't have a brand, that is still your brand. Now I see how much my business has grown as a result of my personal brand. Even when I'm sleeping, my content is still generating leads for me. That is incredible. So yeah, those two things I would have started earlier.
Yes, and the other question that popped up in the chat just recently was, what is one mistake that you would try to avoid no matter what?
Mm, try to avoid, right? Um, try to avoid. I think I kind of maybe I can answer it this way. I think, like so many people say that, like for example, even like live streaming, and then people feel like, oh, I don't have a really nice setup, I don't really have like a computer, and I don't really have this and that. There's lots of excuses. My personal belief is that start before you are ready. Start with what you have. And a common mistake is that many people wait, even some of my students I coach, like, oh, no, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have cash flow, whatever. They just wait until they have that perfect moment. There's no perfect moment, right? You just like, I love this proverb, which is the best time to plant a tree was 100 years ago. The second best time is now. Either you do it now or just like never. So don't feel like you have to wait until that perfect moment comes. There's no perfect moment. Start with what you have. Start before you are ready. Like when I started a business, I had no idea what I was doing. When I quit my job, I'm like, what did I do? When I started my live streaming show 4 years ago, I told you guys, I was like, oh my God, what was I doing? It was so bad. But that's how I got started, right? So if the first time you are doing something, that thing is perfect, it means that you waited way, way, way too long.
Yeah, I think that the fear of not being good enough, or as you mentioned before, the fear of criticism is something that truly holds us in the spot that we have and doesn't allow us to grow. Like the fear zone is something that we all should try to dive into so that we become better people with time.
Yeah, I think that again comes from the traditional education system, right? Like you're so afraid to lose a point. You're so afraid to be yelled at teachers, to be yelled at by a teacher, because the entire education system is based on how well you perform. We reward good grades, bad grades or mistakes are being punished. But that is not how life works, right? That's why school doesn't really prepare you for this. In real life, when you make mistakes, like which is inevitable, and you just have to, right? So like at my home, and for students at classroom that was, and our like classroom culture is we celebrate mistakes. My own children, we homeschool them. And when they told me, hey, mommy, today I made a mistake, I was like, congratulations, you try something new, or you actually learn something that you need to move forward. It is a mindset shift. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something that our current school system and society would never do because they consider a mistake like the end of the world. You made a mistake, you ruined the project. And truly, it could be just changing the project, not really ruin it. And we have a question in the chat. I believe what they're asking is, how do you stay motivated to persevere through all the challenges that being an entrepreneur gives you?
That's such a great question. I think staying motivated, the key is again going back to the inside to really discover what you want to do. right? I can't tell you how many times, even my live streaming show, I wanted to give up. This is too hard. My business, like I cried so much. I said, this is not working out. But because I love this so much that I'm willing to go through low points like that, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to figure this out. But if someone asks me to start a coding company, to become a computer engineer, I would give up on day 10, because it is not something I'm interested in. I'm not willing to go through the struggles, challenges, because I don't love it. I don't really care. Why do I need to work on this? So the key is that as students, entrepreneurs, young people, doesn't matter how old we are, we need to life success is an inside out journey. It should start from the inside. But again, because of the traditional educational system, we're so used to like seek permission from our teachers or listening to the teachers. We are so obedient. We're always following instructions from other people. But the true instruction should come from the inside. That is your inner drive. But unfortunately, so many people didn't even have the time, or they don't even know how to discover their inner drive. Once you discover that, something that makes you feel so excited in the morning to jump out of bed, then you are willing to work through challenges and struggles because you love this so much. So again, like raising a baby, it is very hard, extremely hard. I have 3 kids myself, but I love them so much. I'm willing to go through everything. But if I don't love them that much, I'm like, I could have give up on day one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Motivation is something that we all should try to have in whatever we do, because if you don't love what you're doing, then why are you even doing it in the first place? That's always the mindset that I follow. And that is something that usually takes you outside of society's role model thing.
100%. I can tell you, most of my friends are still in college, higher education, college professors, even though I have more and more entrepreneur friends. Um, and the people that I know who are still working like full time, nobody enjoys their work. Like, but they feel like there's no other way out. They think that is the default, right? Like that's most people. They complain about it, but they don't want to do anything about it. Very few people will be complaining about it and then actually do something about it. I think that is 1% of the population. Most people just like, yeah, this is life, deal with it.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that really requires dedication and perseverance, because at the beginning it's always going to be bad no matter what you're trying to do. Even fitting into society's role model, at the beginning when you say I'm gonna do good in mathematics, the first day that you go and try to do good in mathematics, you're most likely to get an F on the test, because it's impossible to learn everything that you were supposed to learn since before in that specific moment. So persevering through it just because you love it is a very good way to actually be successful in any field. It doesn't matter if it's a STEM major or entrepreneurship or education or both
Absolutely.
itself. So, so thank you for visiting us today, Dr. I. It's been a pleasure to interview you and learn a little bit more about entrepreneurship. So thank you.
Yeah, you are so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
Me too. Thank you. People, make sure to go visit her YouTube channel. Is Classroom Without Walls, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
right.
Her LinkedIn is showing
Super
the
long. Yeah.
yeah, that's the link for her LinkedIn if you want to go follow her in there. She posts like a lot of educational system related stuff and coaching sessions. She also has her own program if you want to go visit it. So yeah, go visit her if you want to. And see you next time. Bye.